The Holger got a pretty huge buff today in the 1.21 patch. When this weapon first came out, I quite liked it, but it's just too slow to be an assault rifle. It was too weak to be a good LMG. It didn't compete. It was a good bit of fun, but I'm not sure it was a great weapon. But now, in terms of the patch, the Holger got absolutely loads of buffs. As you can see, we got increased movement speed, improved ADS time, recoil reduction. The attachments got improved ADS, faster movement, reduced hip fire, and improved ADS on the two barrels. Now, I'm going to show you a loadout for it that I really enjoyed using. I don't recommend either of the barrels. Both barrels take away your bullet velocity. This gun already has a problem with long shots. You're going to really struggle for it to be any use reducing that bullet velocity anymore, and frankly, it doesn't matter. The 30 round magazine, reduced sprint out time, improved aid. Now I made a loadout for it, which is entirely based on speed, so making this LMG much more like an SMG, let alone an assault rifle, and it was great fun to play with. I'm going to give you the game I jumped into, and it was just immense. I'll let you watch the game footage, and then we'll look at the loadout at the end of that. However, I do put a timestamp in the bottom in the description if you want to skip the game footage, but I do recommend at least watching the beginning of the game footage, because you'll just see how powerful this gun is. So let's look at the loadout. I used tack laser. That gives you quicker ADS speed as well as several other benefits. It does mean the laser shows what your ADS is, but with this gun you can ADS, fire and then move on. It's not for sitting around with. No stock. The benefits are huge on no stock. There are detriments. I can't hit a long shot with this setup. The recoil is just too difficult to control, and we'll get to the recoil when I get to the underbarrel attachments. But in a small map, close quarters, it worked really well. It's good fun. You can see, I'll show you how quick the ADS is on this setup. Stippled grip tape. This is pretty much standard on the majority of the weapon setups I use. I recommend it here. Again, you're just adding on to that ADS time that you can see. The 30 round mag, as you'll see, the majority of the buffs on this weapon came with attaching the 30 round mag. There are other buffs for other attachments, but you get a huge difference to the 30 round mag. It is, however, only a 30 round mag. You're pretty quick on reload speed. It's not too bad, certainly compared to any other LNG. However, it does limit you, and it does limit the engagements you can get yourself into. I'll talk a bit more about Warzone and the impact that has. However, I found when you put the 100 round mag, the standard mag, take this off, back on, there are serious problems with the weapon. It slows it down considerably, affects your movement speed. You do get the benefits of the 100 round mag, but it just doesn't feel the same. I promise you, with this loadout, there was genuine fun had. I really enjoyed the game I managed to play with this weapon. I'm not saying it's top tier. I don't think it is top tier. But for a good fun weapon in the game, it was great. Finally, I used the Ranger foregrip. Now there are a whole ton of different attachments you could use here to try and control the recoil. I'm going to set out the different recoil patterns, but actually when you ADS, it's got pretty good recoil. It's not insane. It's really easy to control, and with the attachments it becomes even easier to control. Frankly, any of them would be useful. Use the Merc foregrip, use the Ranger foregrip. Certainly those would be my recommendations. You could even use the Operator foregrip. The Commando foregrip I thought might help with the side to side a bit, but actually I found it didn't really help on the recoil. As you can see, I'll set out the recoil patterns here for you to look at, and you can really make your own choice. I recommend experimenting for a bit. The downside is the hip fire recoil on this is atrocious. It goes all over the place. Even at close range, it's a bit of a beast, and bearing in mind I'm using some attachments that are designed to help with it. Now, I think you could probably put the 5mm laser on. That might give you some benefit. I had a go with that, but I much prefer the tack laser with the benefits it gave. So my recommendation here is this loadout. I think it's great fun. Have a go. I think this weapon has been seriously improved by this patch. Finally, I'd like to give a note on Warzone. I don't think this weapon is any good in Warzone in its current state. I put on the 30 round mags. I jumped into a game of Plunder just to test it out, and then it's still good fun. It's going to struggle to take on way more than one opponent, and that's if you're lucky. You can't, and you just don't get the same range on being able to take long shots and longer engagements. It just doesn't work. And I compared it with my growl setup, and the growl just demolished it in comparison, because I can run on the growl 60 round mags and I'm beaming at a long distance. That said, I'm not sure. There's still a bit of testing and experimentation. The only difference I made for the Warzone was I took off the tack laser and I put on the monolithic suppressor, because the reality is you're going to want to run a monolithic suppressor in Warzone. Anyway, this is the loadout for Warzone. Again, I'm not saying I recommend it. I'm just saying that's what I tried out, and I think there's a bit more experimenting to do with it. But I highly recommend this gun in multiplayer. It's great fun. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, by all means, give me a subscription, and thanks a lot.